Have you ever wondered what the true meaning of adventure is? Is it about exploring lost worlds and making grand discoveries? Or is it something much closer to home? The movie Up might just have the most touching answer to that question. It starts with one of the most famous and heart-wrenching sequences in animation history, but the real journey begins after the tears have dried. We first meet young Carl, a quiet boy completely captivated by the daring exploits of explorer Charles Muntz. Carl dreams of his own great adventure, a dream that suddenly becomes shared when he meets Ellie, a girl with the same fiery spirit and a love for the unknown. Their bond is instant. They are two kids with a shared passion, dreaming of a life filled with exploration, specifically a trip to the mythical Paradise Falls. This innocent childhood dream becomes the foundation of their entire life together. As they grow up, Carl and Ellie get married. They build a home with their own hands, a symbol of their love and shared future. Life, however, doesn't always follow the storybook plan. They face the quiet heartbreak of being unable to have children, and the daily grind of life keeps pushing their dream of Paradise Falls further and further away. The Paradise Falls jar, which they fill with spare change, becomes a bittersweet symbol of a promise they keep renewing but never quite fulfill. It's a powerful reminder of how life's challenges can put our biggest dreams on hold. Then, the inevitable happens. Ellie passes away, and Carl is left alone in the house they built, a house that is now a museum of memories. The world outside changes rapidly, with new buildings closing in on him, but Carl refuses to let go. His grief turns him into a grumpy old man, isolated and resistant to any change. He rejects offers to sell his home, clinging to it as the last tangible piece of Ellie he has left. This house isn't just wood and nails. It's the embodiment of his entire life with her, and losing it feels like losing her all over again. Just when Carl has completely shut himself off from the world, a persistent knock at the door changes everything. It's Russell, a young, overly enthusiastic wilderness explorer who needs one last badge for assisting the elderly. Russell is everything Carl is not: cheerful, talkative, and full of youthful hope. He represents a new connection, a crack in the wall of solitude Carl has built around himself. Their initial interactions are a funny clash of personalities, showing Carl's internal battle between his desire for isolation and the pull of companionship. In a desperate act to escape being moved to a retirement home and to finally fulfill his promise to Ellie, Carl does the unthinkable. He attaches thousands of balloons to his house and lifts off, soaring towards South America. But he soon discovers he has an unexpected stowaway, Russell. Thrown together by circumstance, they face their first of many challenges. A powerful storm forces them into a difficult landing, far from their target. It's during this shared adversity that their bond truly begins to form. Russell, in a moment of vulnerability, shares his own quiet sadness about his distant father, striking a chord deep within Carl. For the first time in a long time, Carl feels a flicker of responsibility for someone other than himself. This is the turning point where the grumpy old man starts to become a guardian. Their adventure takes an even stranger turn when they meet Doug, a friendly dog who can talk through a special collar, and Kevin, a giant, colorful, and very rare bird that Russell immediately befriends. But with these new companions comes a new danger. They run into none other than Charles Muntz, Carl's childhood hero, who is still alive and obsessively hunting for Kevin to prove his legacy. Meeting Muntz is a shock for Carl. He sees in the old explorer a dark reflection of himself, a man so consumed by a single, lifelong goal that he has lost his humanity. Muntz's bitter obsession with his past makes Carl realize that clinging too tightly to a dream can be just as destructive as giving up on one. This realization leads to the film's climax. Muntz captures Kevin, and for a moment, Carl achieves his goal. He lands his house right next to Paradise Falls, just as he promised Ellie. But as he sits in his chair, surrounded by memories, he feels empty. Russell is heartbroken that Carl won't help save Kevin. This is Carl's ultimate test. Does he protect the house, the symbol of his past with Ellie, or does he risk it all to help his new friend? He has to choose between a promise to the dead and a responsibility to the living. Flipping through Ellie's old adventure book, Carl expects to see pages of unfulfilled dreams. Instead, he finds it filled with pictures of their life together, their wedding, their home, quiet moments. On the last page, Ellie has written a new message. "Thanks for the adventure. Now go have a new one." In that moment, Carl's whole world shifts. He finally understands that the adventure wasn't a destination. It was the life he shared with Ellie, the small, everyday moments of love and companionship. The grand quest was a distraction from the real treasure he already had. With this newfound clarity, Carl is transformed. He leaves the house behind, realizing that the memories aren't in the furniture or the walls. They're in his heart. He confronts Muntz, not as a fan, but as a protector. The final battle isn't just about saving a bird. It's about Carl fighting his own stagnation and grief. When the house, untethered, drifts away and disappears into the clouds, it's not a moment of loss. It's a moment of liberation. Carl has finally let go of the weight of his past, not to forget it, but to be free to live again. In the end, Carl embraces his new role. He becomes a surrogate grandfather to Russell, attending his badge ceremony and sharing simple joys, like counting cars and eating ice cream, a new kind of adventure. This journey teaches us that it's never too late to open your heart. The balloons that lifted his house are a beautiful metaphor. They represent memories, but also the need to let things go, to allow them to float away gracefully instead of holding them down. Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about recontextualizing the past so it can lift you up, rather than weigh you down. Shows us that the greatest adventures are often the connections we make and the love we share every single day.